Yo, so this is number 11 of the content that I'm creating today. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my first video today. You'll know what I'm talking about. This is the 11th piece of content for today. Um, what I'm doing here is I'm sharing a book that has made an impact on my life, altered my life, the way I interact with the world, and the way I see the world in ways that I don't know how it can be undone at this point. And so I've done a few videos now in a row of just talking about videos that or books that have made that kind of an impact on my life, and I just thought I'd share them. That way, you kind of know a little bit more about me. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not here. This channel is not about convincing you of religious or political things. I hate politics, and I believe religion is a thing that it's better for me to just live out my beliefs and just love people to the best of my ability and let that do the talking. And so I that's how I try to live my life. I'm not here trying to convince you of anything, either way, political or religious. But there's a book that made an impact on my life, and I just thought I'd share it. Maybe you'll find it interesting. Maybe you won't. I don't know. This book here has led me, man. The people who shared it with me are some homeschool mentors of mine. There are a couple that are, I don't know, I'm not sure how old they are, and they might watch this video, so I'm just gonna say they're like, I think they're probably like 35 each. I don't know how old they are. They're older than me, and I'm 46. But they were homeschooling their kids like 40 years ago. So um, they they shared this book with me, and they didn't know exactly how much this book would impact my view of the world, um, but it made a huge impact on me. And so, what is that book? It's a little, technically, it's a pamphlet called The Law by Frédéric Bastiat. Um, it was written, I believe, in 1850, off the top of my head. I think that's when it was written. I think it was the same year that the author himself died. He was a feeble man. He was like sick all the time. I think he died pretty young. Can't remember all the details, but it's he was a pretty insightful guy, and I felt like the book was well written, well argued. It's a little older, so it's got some of that kind of lingo in it that can be kind of hard to follow sometimes, but I think it's cogent, and I think it's got a lot of really interesting things to say. And so one of the biggest takeaways for me from that book that has changed so much of how I see the world, and it really does complement some of the other books that I've shared in my other videos. So you might want to check out some of that, but there's definitely a complementary nature to them. The insight that I got from that book that I had never seen before, ever. And I was like, really, at that time, I was very into politics. Um, but it's just not, when you hear people talking about politics, you hear just a lot of vitriol and a lot of scapegoating, a lot of anger and hostility toward a side, whatever side. And you hear a lot of like arguing over, I don't know, like, should taxes be 50% or should they be 25%? Okay. So it's not really about principle, it's about preference, A lot of that in politics. And this was the first time I really encountered like principles, like real, like actual, like something that looks like it's a principle. And and what that was for me, what I got was that when there is a law, that law is always backed by death. Always. It doesn't matter what law it is. Because in order for it to be a law, it can't just be a suggestion. It has to be something that's enforceable. So they have these guys that walk around called law enforcement. So they use force to enforce. And that force, what does that mean? It means that if that rule is there and you break that rule, then there are consequences that follow that can escalate all the way up to your death. Because that law is not a suggestion. It must be enforced. So that's that. And so once I got that, I started to really ask myself a lot of really tough questions about politics. At what point is it okay to shoot somebody? Right? I had a lot of opinions about politics back then. And I'm going to tell you right now, just so you know, I was very much on the right back then. I'm just not. I don't care about politics anymore. I hate politics. I'm not left, right. I think both sides have some things that they can be right on. I think both sides have a lot of things they're wrong on. I don't care about sides. I see humanity. I want to bridge the gaps. I want to, you know, I'm so sick of that tribal kind of crap. Sick of the hatred, the scapegoating, the vitriol, the battle over the one ring that rules them all and who can wield it or the other guy. I'm just sick of the game, man. Some really evil, ugly, nasty characters rise to the top of that infrastructure, and I'm over it. So for me, politics is like, I don't care. I'll talk politics, if it can be a friendly conversation, it's fine. But I don't believe it's a topic we shouldn't talk about. It's not a topic that I really care about, because I see politics as just, you're gonna do it because I tell you, and everyone's trying to figure out how can I make it so that they got to do what we tell them, rather than us having to do what they tell us. And it's like, whoa. That's not, I wouldn't even classify that as a civilized society. I would just say it's a really hostile one that just gets more hostile over time as things ratchet up and get more desperate. And then the desperation for who gets to point the gun at the other people just gets more hostile. And it's like, gosh, dude, look around. Why is everyone hate each other so much? You can't even talk anymore because it's gotten desperate. The extremeness of it all has just gotten to levels where we can't talk anymore because I hate you so, not me hating you, but it's like one side hating the other side so much, because I know that if you get to use that gun, the law, the gun, against me, you're going to ruin my life. So I'd rather do it to you. And then the other side's feeling the same way. And it's just back and forth. That's all it is. It's ugly and nasty. I hate it. I hate it. And I know that it just makes you go, well, then how would you do it, man? Are you like an anarchist or something? I know you're going to wonder that and think that. And I don't really care. It just doesn't matter to me. The point of this book here is to say that that's what laws are. And so what he does is he kind of like gives you this illustration of, imagine you're just, I think we can all agree that if someone was trying to murder you, you have a right to defend your life up to the point of killing that person if that's what they're going to do to you. I think that's a pretty near, unless you bring in pacifism, it's a pretty near unanimous view of things. Left, right, or whatever. Like, if someone's trying to kill you, you can kill them if that's what it takes to defend your life. Okay. So let's just agree to that real quick, and then we could say, well, then it kind of makes sense that you could have your neighbors and your family and all that. You could all say, hey, you know what? We'll all protect each other that way. If someone tries to kill you, I will also defend you, because you're just like basically contracting me to execute your right with and for you, but it's still your right, and it's something well within your right to be able to do. And therefore, since it's well within your right to do, then you can have me do it with you. So we'll do it for each other. We'll collectively protect each other's rights. And so then you can imagine that thing, that group, that collective, you might want to call it government. And it's like, okay, so what is government? Government is this collective entity of people that agree to protect each other's rights. Okay, cool. Let's zip back a little bit. If someone tried to take your property against your will, you would call them a thief. If someone tried to murder you, kill you, then you would call him a murderer. If someone tried to rape your wife or your daughter, you would say that's a rapist. You would very easily say those things. If someone tried to take your daughter and put her in a cage somewhere else, um, you would call that a kidnapper, and so on, right? So, since we know those things to be true, then what gets a little confusing sometimes is that we think like when the government does it, it's okay. Like it's okay to tax everybody 50% of their income because, well, I need food or I need an education. I need this and I need that. Now, you wouldn't say that if we zip back, right, where there is no government, but it's just you're protecting your rights. You wouldn't say that if so and so, your next door neighbor, Joe Blow, he says, "Hey, I need money so I can give my daughter an education." You wouldn't say like, "Well, that's his right. His daughter has a right to education, so it's okay that he's going to like force me to hand over the money so she can have an education." You wouldn't say that. So why do we say it then when the collective, remember the collective that we joined together to protect our rights? Why would we say when that collective then does it, it's totally legit and okay? It's just an interesting book, man. Again, this topic, I know when I say these things, it's going to tick people off. I can imagine in my head, my 500 subscribers just went down to negative, 2,000 right now. And that's okay. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. The book is fascinating. It changed how I see things. And then I ask myself, well, what can I do in this world? I don't care about politics. I'm not trying to like hold the gun to anybody's head and force you to live how I want you to live. I don't care how you live. As long as you're not actually hurting people, live how you want to live. My job is to love you. My job is to serve and to love other people, even my enemies. As a Christ follower, that's how I see it. Even my enemies, I'm supposed to love them. So my job is not to sit here and try and hold a gun to your head and force you to do, all the things that I think are right and wrong, or right and, pleasurable and all that. My job is just to love you and serve you, and do my best in that endeavor. So I just see politics as the opposite of that. I don't think it as loving anybody, and I don't think of it as serving anybody. I see it as holding a gun to people's head and just saying, "Well, this is because this is what I see, how I see it, and therefore you have to do it that way." That's how I see it. So understand, you might not agree with me. I get that. Totally agree. Totally get that. Just understand, I'm not your enemy. I'm not the guy who's gonna put a gun to your head. I'm not the guy that's gonna make you have to do anything the way I want you to do it. I'm not that guy. You might be able to find other people in society that are doing that to you, and you might be doing that to other people, like me. But I'm not doing that to you, and nor will I ever. I want you to live your life up until the point where you're hurting people. That's not okay. But whatever that means for you, how you want to live your life, live your life. I think you have every right in this world to do that, and my job is to love and serve. So peace be with you. Hopefully that makes sense. That's what that book did for me. That book did not mean that I trying to hurt anybody, and hopefully this video didn't hurt you. Hopefully you could see that I come in peace, man. I come in peace. I'm not out here trying to wreck people. I'm not. So oh, I don't know. Subscriber count. Yeah, it's okay. Think of all those books that I shared today. Less Nice, More You. I See Satan Fall Like Lightning. Some of those things. Start connecting those dots. You'll see where I'm coming from. And man, it's okay. It's all good. And wish you the best.